Hello Glendale, I'm Brett Baxley and welcome to the 5th episode of the Glendale 411. Some people may not consider dance a sport, but Glendale Crimson girl Holly Hallam disagrees.
I'm Holly Hallam, and dance is what I do. I started dancing at the age of 3, and I took the basic classes, and then as I gotten older, I started taking more advanced classes to help me prepare me for the real world of dancing. When I first went to Tiffany's, when I walked in the door, she immediately believed in me and knew that I could make dance as a career, so she's helped me along the way.
My role in her dancing is to always be her biggest fan, which I am. I'm the one she can hear yelling the loudest. My favorite thing that I yell is, "Yes, girl," and says she hears me up there.
My mom has always been my #1 supporter. I can always hear from the stage saying, "Yes, girl, you got this." And no matter the results of how I danced, I know that she's always going to be proud of me. To me, dance isn't about winning the big trophies. Sure, it's fun to have your big moment on stage of announcing that you're the grand champion of your solo division, but dance is more to me than that. It's about knowing that I put my best foot forward and I gave my all on that stage that day, and then believing myself and knowing that I did my best. When I was 12, I started taking dance more seriously. I knew that I wanted to make it a career. So I looked at a school in New York called Pace. They have a really good dance program, which I love, and it'll open a lot of doors. I put in countless hours at the studio. I'm there 3 days a week, sometimes 4, depending on competition season, from 3 till 9. Whatever it takes to prepare me for the real world of college, I'll do. So if it's taking more classes, if a guest artist comes in, I'll take their class. I'll take any class that's offered to me during that night to help me prepare me.
I'm excited to see where Holly's dancing takes her. She's worked really hard to try and do something with it professionally, and her dad and I are going to support her and help her get there. If it's to be, it will. And if not, I just know dance will always be part of her life. So I couldn't be more proud to be her mom.
Dance has made me a well-rounded person. I've learned to balance my academic work in school while also balancing my dance life at my studio and knowing when to go to practice, knowing when to study for a test. So it's made me a better student in school and also a better dancer. People say dance isn't a sport. Those people are wrong. We work just as hard, if not harder, train countless hours, and go through just as much pressure.
Signing out for the Glendale 411, this is Paige Ledgerwood and Caitlin Baird.
Balancing academics, extracurriculars, and work can be difficult for a student. Kayla Wines and Emily Farlander investigate.
Students everywhere are struggling with stress and the demands of academics and extracurriculars. Are the pressures of making good grades, excelling in a sport, working, volunteering, and preparing for college too much?
Nathaniel Gillespie. I teach English 1 and reading, and I coach cross country and track. I think there's a lot of pressure to the more involved you are, the better it looks, whether it's on a college application or a resume. And a lot of kids get involved in too many things. And with today's day and age, there's more stuff to be involved in, especially compared to when we were back in school. So it's just kind of, you've got to pick and choose and what's going to be best for you and take it from there. But it varies with the individual.
I'm involved with cross country, track and field, choir, drama, and FCA leadership. For homework, I usually have 2 to 3 assignments every day, and then maybe like a project or 2 every week to finish. And it takes me about 2 hours every day to finish it all.
So I feel like sometimes I get a lot of complaints, but in the end, everyone gets everything done that they're supposed to. I think initially when a large assignment is given out for the first time and the requirements are explained, then there's a lot of stress at the beginning because they start to go through all of the different, I have to work, I have a game, all these different things. However, most of the time, students do complete the work on time. So even though there's some complaining and maybe some struggling, it does get done in the end.
Some teachers who do understand or don't understand, the ones that do usually have experience with that as well, but the teachers who don't don't have like experience from their past of being busy as us students are today.
In my opinion, I would not extend time for something that is a privilege and not a necessity. There is no athletics at Glendale without academics at Glendale. Yeah. The reason that they are able to play Glendale sports is because they are a Glendale student. So if they aren't a Glendale student, that sport doesn't exist. So if they're not excelling or participating and holding up their end of the bargain when it comes to academics, they don't even have the option to play that sport. So if they're not focusing on the academics first, then the athletics become irrelevant completely.
If an athlete is having issues academically or has some stuff that they need to catch up on, get caught up, then my philosophy, my recommendation is to take care of school first. These are scholar athletes, and they can't be scholar athletes without taking care of their school business first. So need to get that finished and get their business taken care of on that end, and then we can focus on athletics.
It depends on the person if you should focus more on athletics than academics. If you're an athlete who has outstanding performances and could go on in college to get scholarships for that sport of being an athlete, I say focus on both equally.
I think that there are students who feel that they are too overwhelmed. So I don't want to invalidate that feeling. However, I think it's unnecessary to feel too overwhelmed. If I start to debrief with a student why they're feeling too overwhelmed, much of it is more along the lines of, I would rather do this than my homework, and so I feel overwhelmed. Or I am going to have to go right home after school and do homework because I have to work tonight, and what I'd rather do is just relax. So I do think that when you feel overwhelmed or stressed out as a student, that's real. It's a real feeling, and it's something that could definitely affect the stress level and things like that, but it's unnecessary if prioritizing is something that is kind of tried and organized, that type of thing. So I do think that they feel overwhelmed, and I don't want to take that away, because if you feel stressed, you really do feel stressed.
Students are in school for 7 to 8 hours a day. Then they go home or to practice. Either way, there are tests to study for, projects to finish, homework that is due, and there are only so many hours in a day. This can lead to a lot of stress, which is something to worry about.
I don't think that the expectations are too much, because so many of those things are voluntary, and the teachers and coaches work together so often to try and make sure that everyone is being served in the way that best benefits the students. I think that it's fantastic when students have jobs. I think that that's real life. We're all busy, and I think learning how to manage time and understanding how to effectively manage being busy is a really good skill. Also at Glendale, our whole motive is to prepare you for every step in life. The next one is college, but some people are going right into the workforce. And if we just made everything, if we were trying to make things easy, we would be doing the disservice. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that it's too much. I think that sometimes students need to rise to the occasion. And a lot of the time, if you communicate with teachers, problems are solved. Not everyone's willing to do that, but I don't think there's a teacher or a coach in the building that wouldn't work with a student if they came and said, I am feeling too overwhelmed. I think that my load is too heavy and I need help. I think that there's a wealth of resources that we can offer to make sure that if it does become too much, we can solve that problem.
Talking to a teacher or coach can relieve stress, but can it take away the overwhelming issue of high expectations? Students should thrive, not just survive.
A local nonprofit has a new location, allowing it to better serve Springfield.
The Lost and Found Grief Center helps support families and individuals who have experienced grief through tragedy.
Lost and Found was created because of the need. It was co-founded by Sean Escanosi and I. Children come with their family members, so they are it's called therapeutic support groups. They're in a group that's led by a trained coordinator who has a degree in counseling, and they're led through a series of activities and discussion that help them understand, process, and talk about their grief. While the children are in group, we have a group for parents as well, and so the whole family gets help.
My reasoning behind wanting to work at Lost and Found probably started when I was really little. So I lost my dad when I was 5. So I had a really amazing family support system. So it was the epitome of whenever my dad died, everyone surrounded us and basically raised my brother and I alongside my mom. And as I grew up and I met other people that lost maybe a parent or a sibling or even a grandparent, caregiver, anything like that, I would hear these stories of how traumatic it was. Everyone left because death is uncomfortable and people don't know how to handle it.
We've served more than 1,000 families each year since Lost and Found began. It helps children and families be healthy, and it helps them move forward through tragic circumstances. One of the things I'm most proud about is the number of current volunteers in our groups who were earlier families, so they've come back to pay it forward and help other people.
One of the biggest things I say is everyone needs help. We're not in this alone. It's kind of hard for people to understand that someone could love them without even meeting them, but it's real.
The new facility is 9,000 square feet. It's new, it's beautiful, it's spacious, so it just allows us to be better at what we do and provide a beautiful state-of-the-art facility for our families.
To see everyone that understands that even if we just help one kid, that it's enough.
Signing out for the Glendale 411, this is Helen Halter and Macy Bierstow.
Whitney Owen and Hayden Folk share their favorite fall senses. Thank you for watching the Glendale 411. To be notified when we upload a new episode, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the Glendale 411. Signing out for the Glendale 411, I'm Brett Baxley.